Adrian. I've been called a name. I've been called a hater.
Wait a minute. Hater about what?
We'll get into
your
that.
own opinion.
How is Hugh Jackman not too tall to play Wolverine, but Channing Tatum's too big to play Gambit? Okay, big and tall are two different things. From a body type standpoint, Hugh looks the part of Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't have The Rock play Charles Xavier, would you?
Right.
Wouldn't he be too big? I mean,
just because he's bald, that doesn't mean he's the right person for it.
Absolutely. The accent, I loved it. I thought it was great. It was, the Cajun accent I thought was on point. Mm-hmm. The costume, cool costume. Power set looked great, but his head, dude, as someone who has a big head, like I'm telling, like, bro, his shit's on like the second. I'm a big header, so I can comment on this. Channing Tatum's head's the size of Juggernaut's fucking helmet. Okay, right. It don't look right in the Gambit costume, so that's all.
Right.
And no, we're not hating because I actually enjoyed it for that movie.
Sure.
All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up, man?
What's up, dude? You rocking the cap today, dude.
Yeah. It's like, a little subdued, But, rocking
You don't have like a Human Torch one underneath that. This isn't like, the movie where he, as my boy says, he pulled the okie doke on everyone.
Right. No Human Torch underneath this. It's just been like a subdued week, so I'm just kind of rolling with it.
Okay, all right, I'm liking it, dude. Got a lot of stuff happening. We're August has begun, right? So July was I think a record month for Only Comics, dude. Yeah. So YouTube, we're up to 2,100 followers on YouTube.
Cool.
We hit 50,000 followers on TikTok this past month. So
nice.
50,000 of our loyal subscribers on TikTok been following us for some of them over a year now, and then we eclipsed 3 million views on TikTok this past month, and we're just getting started, dude.
Just getting started. Man.
We're just over a year, dude. So anyway, I thought I'd share that. So congratulations to us, congratulations to you, to me, right?
To you, sir.
Thank you, and congratulations to you all, for sticking around this long. I'm surprised that some of you've been here this long because we tend to say things sometimes that maybe upset people.
Right.
Some people may get offended a little bit.
Maybe.
But what we try to do here is be an example for them, right? Because we don't always agree.
Be an example is probably a strong word. We're here to have fun.
Have fun, that's true.
And if the example part comes out, then it does.
Okay. But in this way, in the way where, like, we're going to agree about a lot of shit today, and we're going to disagree about a lot of shit.
Most likely.
One thing that's not going to happen, Adrian, I promise you, I won't be upset.
I promise you I won't either.
Perfect. Because sometimes I've been called this past week, Adrian. I've been called a name. I've been called a hater.
Wait a minute. Hater about what?
We'll get into
your own opinion?
Exactly. And that was my thing. Like, how can, like, I wish we all, like, it's fun. We do this for fun, like you mentioned. I have fun. And I say this every week. I don't care. Leave a good comment. Leave a stupid one. Leave a bad one. Call me a big-headed dumbass. I don't give a shit. It's all fun. But it's the lesson for you guys is if my opinion differs from yours, I'm not hating. I'm not a hater. I just have a difference of opinion.
Right.
And that's okay. And we're going to teach them that today. We're going to attempt,
Well, we're going to expose that to them anyway. I don't know about the teaching part.
Because you would require learning on the other side.
Right. Which they haven't gotten it in a year.
Which we have no control over. So, anyways, but what I do have today, John, I got some news and rumors in the comic world, as always.
Let's do it.
And we got a lot of good stuff. Believe it or not, there's a lot of Marvel. There is, and by a lot of Marvel, I think every news and or rumor that we're going to discuss today is Marvel. So DC is, they're still on that sabbatical that we talked about a while back.
Right.
So, and like that, some people think like, you guys are DC haters. We're not. There's just no DC to talk about.
Exactly.
So
and logo changes don't count.
No. I made a logo. Anyways, Avengers Doomsday. There's been some, this was announced last week at the San Diego Comic-Con. Robert Downey Jr. made his triumphant return to the MCU. And there's some rumors around, I guess, his Doctor Doom, what he's going to be doing. And they are still, they're real heavy on this. He will be playing Victor Von Doom. Because that was a lot of the comments like, you know, he's going to be another Tony Stark. This is why they're bringing Tony Stark. They're not bringing Tony Stark back.
Right.
They're introducing a different character with the same actor. It can happen.
Right.
Did you know Josh Brolin plays Cable and Thanos?
Good.
Like,
nobody says, hey, when he's playing Cable, hey, they're bringing you know, this other guy back in. I didn't hear any of that.
No one was distracted because it was Thanos. No, it was Cable and Thanos. And we also, you know, we'll get into this a little bit later, but Dr. Doom wears a mask and has a disfigured face. So there's that as well. But the rumor here says that Doom isn't truly evil, which, you know, we know. Yeah. And in this movie,
focused.
Yeah, he's focused. He believes he's saving the multiverse from incursions, according to this twisted logic. So kind of like Thanos in a way, right? Yeah. And the only way for the multiverse to survive is to unify all universes in one place, Battleworld,
right,
under his rule. And he sees this as the sole path to ensuring survival for everyone. Sounds like a Doom-esque plot or idea. Does that kind of sound Doomish to you, Adrian?
It does. I mean, most normal people think about, hey, I want to buy a house, and let's plan to buy a house. Well, no, let's Doom is like, let's just take it out a little bit further. All the multiverses, let's just bring all the multiverses together. Yep. For the betterment of mankind.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds
under that, yes, it definitely sounds Doomish. And it sounds a lot like Secret Wars,
yes,
which we've read in the past, we've talked about here. So if you've not seen that episode, go check that out in the YouTube archives where we dig deep. We did an episode on the original Secret Wars, and then we did one on the 2015 version, which it seems like they're going to lean on that one for this story, because that 2015 version was essentially that plot, right? They're all universes but two had ceased to exist. Mm-hmm. It was the Earth 616 and then another Earth universe where Miles Morales was from. Mm-hmm. So this was when Miles and Spider-Gwen actually came to the main timeline of the Marvel Comics. But remember the beginning of that comic, we saw the incursion,
right,
and we saw everything explode. And then we're on this new kind of world. And it was exactly what they described here. Right. Doom, with the help of Molecule Man and Doctor Strange, created this new world out of remnants of the other universes. Right. So the rumor is that's what Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom will be doing in Doomsday, kind of setting that up. There's a rumor that he will make his debut in a post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four movie next year. So they're going to kind of slow build this. So, dude, I like this. And this is what I said. There was some confusion. People were like, didn't you guys shit all over that rumor 2 weeks ago? I'm like, no. We have to explain it. We shit on the idea of Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Tony Stark variant that became Doom.
Right.
But Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom, dude, I'm in line for already.
Yep,
I'm good with that. So hearing this, does it make you more excited for this movie?
No, because that's kind of expected.
Okay.
Because they have to slow build into Secret Wars.
Yep.
So, and this is a best scenario, way to do that.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't make me more excited, but it does kind of explain, assuming that they stay with the plot, right? Yep. By the time they roll out. It does make sense for them to go on that trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's first piece of news. I'm with it. I like it. I hope they go. And it's kind of like I think the problem a lot of times in comic movies is they try to complicate things. Like you've talked about, directors need to make a name for them. It's like, Gambit, I need to make a name for myself. They try to do that with the movies. Right. They change characters that don't need to be changed. Cape Crusader making the Penguin a female for some dumbass reason. Like they do things that are unnecessary. You said this I think the first episode, you have all these stories in comics.
Right.
Just it's like reaching in a big-ass candy jar, dude. Anything that comes out is going to be good.
Right. And not only do you have all these stories, but you have all these characters, which is the whole point of, Hidden Gem. Well, not the whole point, but, Hidden Gem exposes some of these characters that, people haven't heard of before.
Yep.
Because, like, for example, I never heard of Gambit before.
Right.
Well, it's not that I never heard of him, but he just wasn't he was, like, down there, like, 25, 30-ish, of my
he wasn't one of your
characters.
top guys.
No. But the movie has brought him out, and he's actually a pretty cool character.
Absolutely.
So it's just so much content and depth and characters and then for them to then go, gender switching and all this race switching, and it's stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
And I say that, and I can say this in the same sentence. I'm all about representation. I love that there's strong female characters, Black, Asian, Hispanic. Like, I love the mix that we see in comics.
Right.
I just don't love when you take an existing character and change it because there's other characters, whatever demographic you're trying to fit.
There's character for
this
it.
character, Asian character, African, white, Black, female, gay, straight, and there's there's morph. You want a non-binary character? There you go. Like, you don't need to change existing characters,
right.
and that's where and that's why I hope that they just go with the simple, like the obvious answer, and that is adapt Secret Wars. Do the incursions, do the Battleworld. Like, right. It worked in the comics, dude.
Yep.
Do the same thing here, and put your little MCU twist on it, right? So, it's funny, that piece of news segues to the next piece of news, Adrian. So there's another rumor. So this is, I guess, piggybacking off the rumor that they're going to create Battleworld in Doomsday. That being said, there's a year from the time Doomsday drops to Avengers Secret Wars. And there's going to be a few films that come out in that period of time.
Sure.
So in the comics, when 2015 Secret Wars started, every other comic line that was out took place in Battleworld. So it wasn't just happening in, the Secret Wars comic. It affected all the other comics, which happens a lot in Marvel.
Right.
So there's a rumor that the same thing's going to happen on screen. Doomsday, we're going to see Battleworld introduced. And then any movie that comes out in between Avengers 5 and 6 will be set in Battleworld. I think that's pretty cool.
I agree.
It's bold,
right?
Like, having movies that really don't affect the main timeline. They're taking place in this fictitious world. Now, that's one part of the rumor. The other, this has not been confirmed yet, but a lot of people that, these insiders believe that Spider-Man 4 will be released in that time period as well. So we would see the next Spider-Man movie take place in Battleworld. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Different twist on Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So, and now that part's, again, not confirmed, but outside of that, how do you feel about having and it's not going to be a lot, maybe it's 2 or 3 movies, take place in Battleworld in between these 2 Avengers films?
I'm cool with that continuity.
Yeah.
It's like you take these pieces because you want to promote these characters and your brand, and the best way to do that is to cross them.
Right.
So I think it's cool. It's like a Nick Fury showing up in everything, or Spider-Man showing up in everything, or Kevin Hart in every movie. I mean, that cross pollination keeps your brand and your characters alive. So I'm down with it.
Right, absolutely. So Russo brothers, they were announced last week to be directing this movie and Doomsday and Secret Wars. So they spoke out. They said this to the MCU fans. They said, "You are the best damn fans in the world. We missed you. When we made Endgame, we truly believed that was the end of the road for us in the MCU." And I'm, paraphrasing a little bit. We put all the passion, love, imagination we had into Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and then it all culminated in Endgame. And then they talk about being back, but one of the things they say is that the one story where we could find a new narrative path forward. That's what they were waiting for. Like, they didn't want to just come back and do the same shit.
Sure.
And he said the reason they fell in love with comics in the first place was that story, Secret Wars. So I think that, we were kind of talking before this, like, you got to find something you love to do in life.
Right.
And I think that's what makes me most excited about the Russos coming back. Not so much their track record, because that's part of it.
Right.
But just because you have a good track record doesn't mean everything coming forward will be good as well. Right. But the fact that they're actually fans of the story they're adapting. I think a lot of times what happens is you get a director who's a good director.
Sure.
But they don't know shit about comics. They're reading comics as they're directing the movie to get caught up to understand the characters. And then when we see what they do with some characters, you know that they don't understand the comic characters. So the fact that they're fans of this story, that I think makes me more excited than anything, because I feel like if you're a fan of the story, you're going to treat it the right way.
Well, the reason one of the reasons I believe that they had success is because they were true to the characters. They enhanced the characters. They brought the pages of comics alive on the big screen without, changing them up, switching them up, making them do stupid stuff.
Right.
I think that you have a director that is not a good director and don't know comics, and then you end up switching something or doing something stupid, and it damages the brand, it damages the character, it end up losing faith with the customer. I mean, just a lot of stuff happens, and the Russo brothers is a good example of doing comic books right with the big screen.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And they got range. I mean, we've seen several different types of movies. Like the first one they directed was Winter Soldier, which was kind of like a political crime thriller, right? More than a comic book movie.
Sure.
Then we saw Civil War, where it was like a mini Avengers movie. We've seen how well they handled multiple characters. They introduced Black Panther and Spider-Man in the same movie, and it didn't seem like overstuffed, you know? Right. And then Infinity War and Endgame, I think, are two of the biggest cinematic accomplishments of any movie studio. Like the fact that they tied 10 years of stories into these two badass, however you feel about, I mean, Infinity War, one of the best MCU movies, in my opinion. Endgame, I don't think it's as good, but it has some of the best moments we've ever seen on screen. Right. I mean, Cap with the hammer. I mean, he finally says Avengers Assemble instead of Flame On, you know? But, I mean, think about these moments that they've done. So, yeah, I right choice. And it's funny because it's been split among, the internet fans. Like, some people go, well, that's lazy to bring them back. That's a retread. Like, and that just shows that everything's not working now. Okay, well, maybe would you rather them deny it? Would you want them to pretend like it was working? Like they let Ryan Reynolds say that in his movie, right? It's been missed out. If there wasn't some semblance of truth to that, I gotta imagine Kevin Feige would have been like, "Yo, take that shit out, man. Don't be talking shit about us," you know. Yeah. So I don't look at it as a retread. I look at it as a smart fucking decision.
No. You bring people in that can produce the product and services that your customers are willing to pay for and are excited about. And the thing about it is that they're excited about it too. Right. And I think they reached like a pinnacle. And it's like, yeah, we really need to do something that's different. And so now this came out and they're attached to it. And I think everybody's going to be happy with it. Yeah. Them for making it, the movie studios because it's going to be another blockbuster. And then the fans because we're going to get, the Russo brothers, quality.
Correct. I read somewhere that Robert Downey Jr. said that the only way he would return is if the Russos were directing.
Wow.
Yeah, so because he's probably seen what they've been doing lately, and like, I ain't trying to come back for that shit. Right. It's like when you quit a job and then like you want to come back. Like, is it still like that over there? Like they still do it? Nah, you know what? I'm good.
Right.
But I guess the one downside of this whole Doomsday switch is there's no more King Dynasty, which. Now, from a character standpoint, I like Doom over Kang.
Sure.
But my man Jonathan Majors is out, which I'm like, I'd love to see him get a second shot. Now, TMZ caught up with him. That's a crazy show. You ever watch TMZ?
The Rag?
Fuck's it called? Like the paparazzi guys. They go around.
The Rag.
Okay.
The Rags.
I don't get the reference. Who's your dialect coach?
Right.
But so the Rag split. What's that mean?
No, it's like old school. It's like the tabloids. Tabloids, the Rags. It's like
Dirt
that.
sheets, like that. Okay.
It's like you get all the gutter noise and news and shit like that. So that's what I call the Rag.
That makes sense. Dude, I'm under Adrian's learning tree already, and it's not even a hidden gem. But TMZ caught up with Majors. I just dude, that's a hysterical job. Like your job is to go out, find celebrities, follow them around, and ask them random questions. You know, it's always like crazy shit. Like, hey, what do you think about, J-Lo getting divorced? He's like, fuck, dude, I'm trying to get in my car. I don't think nothing about it. But they caught up with Jonathan Majors. Like, he was like outside his house or something, walking down the street. And they're just like, hey, man. And they're asking him they asked him about Robert Downey Jr. coming back. And he's like, dude, I love Robert Downey Jr. I think it's great, blah, blah, blah. And then they asked him about, the fact that Doom is back, that means like there's no more Kang, is that heartbreaking at all? He goes, yeah, I'm heartbroken. Of course, I love him. I love Kang, but Dr. Doom is wicked though. And then they were trying to get him to say like he was taken advantage of or he didn't get treated fairly. So they asked him about, Robert Downey Jr. getting second chances and Ezra Miller getting second chances. And they said, do you think that's fair? And I love his answer. He goes, I think it's fair that Mr. Downey has been greeted with patience, curiosity, and love, and that Miller has gotten the same treatment and that they're being allowed to work their art and be creative on that level, I think that's fair. But I didn't really get that. So kind of like, yeah, it's fair that they got that. Like, he's not trying to down them.
Right.
Because that's the whole, you get caught up in, like, my issue. You having success has nothing to do with me not, right? Like, you can't, like when people go, well, if diabetes medication is this expensive, how come, this thing is not? Well, they're not connected, dude.
Right.
Like, so he's like, dude, hey, they've been treated fair, but I haven't. And then they asked him if he'd still, be cool with returning as Kang if they want him. He said, hell yeah. If that's what the fans want, if that's what Marvel wants, let's roll.
Nice.
So, so a couple of things here. I feel bad for the guy because, and I'm not saying, people get caught. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying that, whatever he did, he shouldn't be, charged with. I also wasn't there. So I'm not saying he's guilty either. I don't know.
But my understanding, because I don't follow this stuff at all, but my understanding is that he got charged with something and there was he had to pay something. In other words, whatever they found, he was charged and now it's done.
Yeah.
So
he's got to go to some type of counseling, some like anger, domestic violence type thing for a year.
Okay, so now he's been penalized by whatever means they deem necessary to penalize him. Let the man continue putting food on his table.
Absolutely, and hey, don't make him the focal point now that you have Robert Downey Jr. Sure, but if we're gonna have to do something with the Kang story, right? Right. Bring him back, make him sideline guy.
Yeah, but the thing about these, like the paparazzi and all these other kind of folk, there's a interviewer has a podcast, and it just feels to me like this guy brings people on just to ask them divisive questions, and that's sad that you have to have an existence like that,
right?
So he sounded like he was above board. I mean, the responses were cool, but it's like they just run around and catch you at moments, and they just want to get the worst out of you. Oh yeah, and I think he kept it above board.
Absolutely, he handled it perfectly, dude. Because I mean, myself included. If I'm him and I ain't getting treated fair, and fucking Ezra Miller's out here doing shit, I'd be like, no.
What is he doing?
I haven't looked that up. So next week I'm gonna break down. We're gonna look at all three of these individuals. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have a redemption story next week. Okay, I'm gonna find out because that's news to me too. I didn't know Ezra Miller was back in anything. Wow. Now they did, still put out his Flash movie. Now you could argue that was kind of in the middle of it. If Kang Dynasty was 6 months away from being released, I don't think they would have stopped it. But we also pointed out the fact that Ezra Miller was in no marketing for the Flash movie. They should have just changed the name to fucking Michael Keaton's Return or something.
Right. But also the stuff on Ezra Miller. I mean, there's video, there's testimony, there's all this stuff of what he was actually doing.
Yeah.
But he still gets a chance.
Right. He didn't get into, one scuffle maybe one night while he was getting attacked by his own girlfriend running away. Right. Ezra Miller's fighting people in bars, kidnapping people at his little compound. Dude, I don't even. So yeah, we're gonna dig in.
Anyway.
So yeah, I don't know, but again, I think that he handled it very well.
Yeah.
And he said a lot without saying a lot.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, they've been treated fairly, 100%. I didn't get that treatment, but So Kevin Feige, we know you're watching. Just give him a shout, dude. Just call him up. Hey. So more Marvel news, Adrian. More Marvel news. I was looking too. I was looking up DC. It was 4 weeks ago this happened. I'm not reporting news from 4 weeks ago. I mean, you can't let down our followers like that. So this rumor, and we talk about a lot of rumors on here. They all don't come true. So don't that didn't happen. This one, some of rumors I hear, I'm like, I hope I never see that. And there's some where I go, dude, I hope this one is real. This one falls under, I hope this one is real for me. Okay. There's a rumor that there's a movie in Marvel that's already in pre-production, and the movie is Wolverine versus Hulk.
Nice.
Yes. If that, I'm dude. This one, I'm hoping, bro.
Right.
After we got that tease in Deadpool Wolverine.
Sure.
Right. But dude, how badass would it be now that, and it'd have to be rated R. That Wolverine, as savage as he was in Deadpool and Wolverine, fighting an angry Hulk.
But the thing about it is that he was angry in Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
He wasn't savage in Wolverine.
True. Yeah, we didn't see Berserker. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So he would have to be Berserker in this, which would make it even more awesome. Dude, just imagine it. Just no boundaries whatsoever. Yep. That would be cool. Now, just toss it over to Marvel Jesus. He'll make it happen.
There you go. So that's funny. They actually asked these two because I'll tell you what, whoever is running this Deadpool Wolverine marketing strategy, it's one of the best ones I've ever seen. They're everywhere.
I can guarantee you it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah. Dude, they're everywhere. They're on the show. Hot Ones, they're eating everything. They're doing everything that's not comic, not movie related. They're hitting all these different That's why it's why the movie's done what it's done.
Right. I mean, I was in PR before. Months ago. And like on all the Coke products, they got the Marvels and all this kind of stuff. Wolverine, Deadpool, stuff all on the can. So I mean, yeah, it's everywhere, dude.
Yep, dude. So yeah, great. Kudos to whoever's in charge, and I agree. I bet Ryan Reynolds has a lot of influence over that. But they asked these two about. They do all these interviews together too. They're like a little bromance going on.
Right.
Hugh Jackman said, "I don't know how we do it, but." Because this is where Wolverine first appeared. I always thought Hulk, and I'm terrified of how that will feel as an actor. I just get flown around. Which would be cool to see. Right. And then Ryan Reynolds goes, no disrespect to Ruffalo, I'd love to play Hulk. It sounds like a pretty good gig. And you are technically available now that you're done with this movie, Sean Levy tease. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to play Hulk, but it's just kind of funny little tease. But now this would have to be – now this is something that could happen in Battleworld. Sure. Right? Like if they're going to have those couple, a year where there's movies that take place outside of the main continuity, you don't need much explanation for this one.
I mean, it could be in the same timeline, but, associated with Battleworld because, I mean, to keep it authentic, I mean, we're talking about the Canadian Alps or Canadian mountains or whatever. Just some rawness. And, Wolverine's hunting for the Hulk or –
yeah.
I think it has to be in the proper setting and not really associated with something else because that's too. This is going to be visceral if it happens. Right. And all attention and focus needs to be on this fight and this hunt, and not have it mixed up with Dr. Doom and all this other kind of stuff that's going on. I think.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not upset, Adrian. I'm not going to run away. Either way, I want to see it.
Right
now, there's I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's an animated movie. Hulk versus Wolverine. Now it's a 2-part. I got the Blu-ray. You can still buy Blu-rays.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't even sure what to do with it. I'm like, you can't watch it on your laptop because you can't put any disc in your laptop now, the newer ones. But
it's funny, Blu-ray because I was coming out of a store and some guy was selling stuff out of his car.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, bro, they hit you up or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I got this CD here. I'm like.
What am I going to
listen to CDs anymore, right? So Blu-ray is like, wow, really?
Yeah. Well, I should ask you, but do you have a Blu-ray player?
I have never had a Blu-ray player.
You have something that can play Blu-rays.
I do not.
You have a PlayStation 5.
Yes, I do.
That can play Blu-rays.
Oh, okay.
Yep. There you go. See, you're under my learning tree now. Dude.
Oh, there you go. Yep. There you go.
So, but I bought it on eBay. I paid too much for it because you can't find this movie anywhere anymore. Yeah. Now, it's a 2-part. It has Hulk versus Wolverine, and then has Hulk versus Thor. I tried watching Hulk versus Thor. I didn't like it at all. It was stupid. But the Hulk versus Wolverine, this is pretty cool. It takes place in the mountains. Deadpool's in it. Sabretooth is in it for a little bit. And there's some savage fights. You see blood. You see claws going through Hulk. You see Wolverine being thrown halfway across. It's Lady Deathstrike's in it.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool movie, dude. Yeah. So I'll bring it out. I'll lend it to you since you have a Blu-ray player,
Right. That I don't ever touch because my grandson he just took over that thing, dude.
You got to ask him if you can use it now. You got to ask permission now.
Maybe I'll watch it with the goggles or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, I'll bring it in for it. And if any of y'all watching, have you guys seen this? What do you think? This is one I was telling my wife when I ordered it. It came out in 2008. One of those movies that I had seen in random stores, Target, Walmart, 100 times. I've looked at it, I'm like, maybe I'll get it. Dude, I've had it in my hands at times, put it back, and then I'm like, finally, you know what? I want to watch it. And you can't find it anywhere.
Can't find it.
Yep, of course. Discontinued, like all the good stuff, So another rumor, this is one that falls under the other bucket, Adrian, that I hope does not happen. There's a rumor claiming that Marvel Studios is still interested in enlisting Tom Cruise to play a Tony Stark variant in one of the upcoming Avengers movies. This has been a rumor for years.
Really?
Tom Cruise was even... I think they wanted him to play Iron Man prior to Robert Downey Jr., but due to some scheduling conflict or some shit, he didn't. I'm sorry. No, I don't know why he didn't play him in the original one. They also were going to have him play a variant of Tony Stark in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and that was stopped by a scheduling conflict. So thank God for the scheduling conflict.
Right.
I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority here, but I don't want to see Tom Cruise as a Tony Stark variant.
I think seeing Tom Cruise as a Tony Stark variant would be like the mini Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep.
It just wouldn't look right, feel right. I agree. I mean, I'm thankful for the scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if he really wanted to play it, Tom Cruise doesn't have scheduling conflicts for things that he wants to do, right?
Right.
So thank God for scheduling conflicts, however they may have come about. But I don't see it.
Yeah. According to him, it wasn't as close as everyone thought it was. Comicbook.com asked him last year about it, how close he was, and he said, not close, not close. I love Robert Downey, and I can't imagine anyone else playing this role. I think it's perfect for him. And then he said, I look at a movie and think, I don't rule anything out. What's the story? What's the character? Does it interest me? Would the audience like to see me in it? What can I learn? Yada, yada, yada. Well, speaking for a good chunk of the audience, we don't want to see you in it. So I'm going to speak for the audience, if that's okay with everyone here today.
I mean, people still talking about his role as a Reacher.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, and the reason they're talking about it is that they're comparing him to the other guy now that's out.
Oh, yeah.
I like them both, but definitely the guy that's playing him now is
Alan Richter,
something like that.
Yeah.
He played Aquaman in Smallville. He has some, but this
He's in
dude's
Titans.
huge now. You're right. He's in Titans as Dove Man or something like that.
Yeah,
he got blew up, Hawk Dove or whatever.
Yeah.
He got blew up in a bed.
Yep.
So he's played a lot. I like him better but I like them both.
Yeah.
But they're still talking about Tom Cruise's role as Reacher. We don't like whatever, dude. It was a role at a time.
Right. Absolutely. Last piece of news: Deadpool and Wolverine breaking all kinds of records at the box office. Adrian, they are, as of today, right around 800 million. So actually, by the time y'all are watching this, they're probably at $1 billion. And that's after the second weekend at the box office. I mean, no surprise,
right?
But I think it's awesome for that movie. It's awesome for the MCU. And I mean, I think about 500 million of that was just me because I've seen it 3 times already. Popcorn every time. So,
right.
But yeah, you know what? Cheers to Marvel. Good success, and maybe this is a sign of good things to come. Who knows?
Did you get your bucket?
No, I didn't get.
You went there 3 times and you did get a bucket.
Yep. So yeah, you know what? I'm working on my anger, Adrian, but now you're bringing up things that piss me off. So y'all watching, actually you wouldn't be watching because you're not a fan. Look, but I'm gonna fill you in on something. There's these guys, I call them assholes. What they do is they go to the movie. They know that people like me want these buckets, right? So they buy them. They don't even fucking know who Deadpool or Wolverine is.
Right.
Then what do they do, Adrian? Right after they buy it, they leave the theater.
Right.
They don't even go watch the movie.
Wow.
And I've seen these on eBay for $100, $150.
Really?
And they're like $20, $30 at the movie theater. That's what we call some bullshit.
Wow.
Yep. So, So if you did that, no offense, and I mean this with all due respect, you're a fucking asshole. Respectfully. So
I don't know how you can respectfully be an asshole, but hey,
you can be anything that you put your mind to, Adrian. So if you want to respectfully be an asshole, you can. Man. All right. Now, something that doesn't make me angry is thumbs up or thumbs down. So we're going to wrap up these news segments, and we're just going to let you know if we think it's a yay or a nay, And you've said this before, Adrian. We reserve the right to change our mind at a later date and time.
Absolutely.
So I may shit all over Tom Cruise playing Iron Man, and maybe he comes out and plays Iron Man, and he's great, and I go, you know what? He's fucking great. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Probably not, though. Most likely not. All right, you ready?
Ready.
All right. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom rumored to try to save the multiverse by building one universe called Battleworld in Avengers Doomsday. I give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Classic Secret Wars.
Right.
Another rumor is every project released between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars will take place in the Battleworld. If that's true, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Jonathan Majors reacts to Robert Downey Jr.'s casting as Doom and the fair treatment of Robert Downey and Ezra Miller. TMZ caught up with him, asked him some questions. He basically said, like, hey, they've been treated fairly. I haven't, and I'd be back if Marvel wanted me. I'm giving him a thumbs up for his response, and I'm giving Marvel a thumbs down for not bringing him back. So there you go.
Thumbs up for his response.
Hulk vs. Wolverine movie rumored to be in pre-production at Marvel right now. Wild, crazy rumor that I don't believe it's real, but if it is, thumbs up.
Definitely thumbs up.
Marvel wants Tom Cruise to play an Iron Man variant in an upcoming Avengers movie. Thumbs down.
I'm gonna go thumbs down. But it's possible that he could play a variant.
Okay.
But thumbs down, though.
All right. You just don't want to see but you think he could pull it off?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to put him on platforms anyway, so sure.
He's going to be walking around that box that Bruno Mars uses in his music videos.
Wow.
Anyway, Deadpool and Wolverine closing in on $800 million worldwide after second weekend at the box office. I'm giving that a huge thumbs up. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Right. Thumbs up, definitely.
All right.
Well, yeah, but so how? All right, so they released this worldwide.
Yep.
I wonder what makes them release something like stateside versus worldwide versus not even in the States. I've heard of movies that being not even released in the States that were made in the States. So
who knows? I guess if you have Ryan Reynolds behind it, it's worldwide.
There you go.
Worldwide Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he's Marvel Jesus. So
there you go.
That's it for thumbs up, thumbs down. Like this video if you haven't already. If you agree with us, like it. If you don't like it, and then talk shit about us in the comments. It's all good. Next up, Adrian, hit or miscast. So this is a fun little game we play, and that I say fun, and I say that with intent because this show is also called Fun with Mike and Adrian,
right?
And that's really our main rule here, is right. Sure. We have fun. That's it, and we talk about comics and only comics,
right? Well. We've already proven we don't only talk about comics just this day alone, but
yeah, mostly
mostly comics.
We should change the name to Mostly Comics,
right?
Yeah, actually, let us know. Maybe we'll run a poll. Do you guys think we should change the name to Mostly Comics?
Yeah, thumbs down.
Your thumbs down on that?
No.
Speaking of polls, I actually posted a couple polls on YouTube this week. So One of them was, how many times have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine so far? And we got a handful of votes here. So 16% of the voters haven't seen it yet at all. 51% of the people have seen it once. 27% have seen it twice, and 5% have seen it 3 or more. So I'm in the top 5% of Deadpool Wolverine viewers. And then I also ran another poll that that asked, on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate Deadpool and Wolverine? Both of us, we were above 9, right? I think I said 9.5, right. And you were maybe even a little higher.
Yep, 9.7.
So most of the world, they agree with us. So 0 to 5, 4% gave it a 0 to 5. 6% said 6 to 7. So y'all are all fucking confused, respectfully. And 26% said 8. 34% said 9. And then 30% said a perfect 10. So we fall under that 34%, 9. And I'd say pretty close to 10, but there was, some, it wasn't perfect, let's be honest. But it was, it was good enough.
There you go.
So I'll do more of those polls. Appreciate you guys chiming in. But now, without any further ado, as they say, hit or miscast. This is where I throw out 5 castings, previous castings, so they've already happened, not rumored castings. So Tom Cruise's Iron Man variant won't be on here, Adrian. Not to disappoint you. But I'm going to throw them out, and Adrian's just going to let me know, in his opinion, if it was a hit or miss. So I've told them this every week. He can't be wrong about his own opinion. Okay,
right.
So you ready?
Ready.
All right. That's a little dramatic pause there. I like that. You're building the suspense. Number 1, Anthony Mackie as Falcon / Sam Wilson.
Miss.
Damn, for real? Okay.
Well, times like this, I always say, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah. I'm not saying Captain America. I'm saying in the past, Falcon, Sam Wilson.
Oh, in my mind, I heard Captain Falcon.
Yeah, you're just that traumatized by Captain Falcon.
So Sam Mackie as the Falcon.
Anthony Mackie as the Falcon.
What'd I say, Sam?
You go Sam Mackie.
Wow. Anthony Mackie as the Falcon. Hit.
All right. Henry Cavill as Superman.
Hit.
Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Miss.
Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle.
Hit.
Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth.
Miss.
I agree. So I think I agree with you across the board. Anthony Mackie is Falcon. Yeah, I think he knocked Falcon out of the park.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I agree with what you're saying. Like, we're giving him some shit about Captain Falcon, which really isn't his fault as an actor. That's more just the I guess the portrayal or the design of the character, right? And maybe how fast. Like, I feel like he didn't really get to be Falcon for that long before he became Cap. Right. But I will reserve. I will wait until that movie's released because he's a great actor. So could he pull it off? Hell yeah. But just based off what we've seen so far with the suit and stuff, like, it's weird that he's kind of this in-between phase. Henry Cavill as Wolverine, I don't ever want to see again. It was cool because the rumors, but I mean,
it was cool because it was funny.
Yes,
and that's the extent of it.
Yep.
But it appears that he's coming over the fence.
Yeah.
So that's the cool part about it.
Right, yeah, you mentioned that last week. I think it does kind of solidify the fact that we'll see him in the MCU somewhere.
Right.
He's been rumored for, what was it, Captain Britain, I think, or Red Guardian. No, not Red Guardian. That's the fat dude from
Captain Britain, the British version of Captain America. Yep. Except not really, because that Captain Britain has a different power set.
Yeah. But from a look and I guess what he represents, again, maybe that's why they compare him. But
the British Boy Scout.
There you go. Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, I thought did great.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like now I love Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, but that's not comic Catwoman. That's when a new take works.
Right.
But that was Tim Burton's, weird universe. It fit that. But she looks and acts very similar to the Selena Kyle I'm used to from the comics, you know, the anti-hero one, the love interest of Batman, so I love that. And I love Andy Serkis. I mean, he's the guy, I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, Serkis, but he plays, who's the guy with the Claw, Ulysses Claw. Right. He does a lot of motion cap too. Really? He does in the newer Star Wars movies. Remember Snoke, the big alien guy on the throne?
No.
You ever seen the newer ones?
No.
Well, anyway, he plays that guy. He plays in Lord of the Rings that fucking creature, with the stone. I've never seen it, but Gollum, I think his name is. And yes, if y'all are watching, no, I don't know shit about Lord of the Rings or trolls or dwarfs or whatever the fuck that stuff is. I don't. My nerdism doesn't go that street. It stays over here. But anyways, but he does a lot. He played Caesar in the Planet of the Apes. He did the motion cap for that too. Okay. So talented guy, dude. Yeah. Fucking really talented. But I did not like his Alfred.
No. Alfred is a different character. He's regal. He's tall. He has an air about him, and that Alfred was more bulldog. Yeah, it was like it was different. Definitely different.
Yeah. I really like Michael Caine's Alfred from the Nolan movies. I think he's probably the best on screen Alfred.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Irons was good in the Snyder verse. Look, I'm saying something good about Snyder verse. Right. He was good, but we didn't see enough of him. Right. Remember the one with Ben Affleck? I thought he did well. Like, Alfred has to be sarcastic as hell, dry as hell, witty, and I didn't feel that with this version.
Yeah.
To your point, he was more like a army guy, a badass, which I know in some stories Alfred has a pretty badass history.
Right.
But, yeah, no. Well, there you have it. Hit or miss cast. Let us know if you agree with Adrian's takes or not. Speaking of Adrian, we have Hidden Gem coming up. So this is also, I have slightly or partially renamed this to Adrian's Learning Tree because that's what happens. But you're going to break down a character that in your mind is a hidden gem. Maybe they've not been portrayed properly on screen, or maybe just a lot of people don't know about them. I mean, we were on a streak for a few weeks, dude, where you had like 3 of them where I never even heard of these characters. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Adrian. Who is our hidden gem this week?
All right, hidden gem this week is, so there's a lot of, not a lot, there's a handful of reasons why I'm talking about this character. You've heard the name before.
Okay.
But he kind of intersects with the movie experience we've just had.
Okay.
So, and also I'm pitching this team to come back for live action. So,
oh shit.
So at the Alpha Flight team.
Yep.
So the hidden gem is Sasquatch.
Okay.
Or some people call him Sasquatch.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but they do. So anyway, Sasquatch, this guy, One, he intersected. You know how Magneto and Xavier, they interacted at some point in their career before they found out who they really were. So this guy, he interacted with and Dr. Doom and Reed Richards. They interacted at some point.
They were in like college together.
Yeah. So Walter Langowski, I think that's how his last name is pronounced. He's a British Columbian citizen, right? He interacted with Bruce Banner at some point for like a year. And he was intrigued by his study of gamma radiation. Matter of fact, he went down the road to study gamma radiation, ended up in MIT. Like an egghead of sorts.
Another genius.
Another genius level intellect, right? Yep. So he studied this stuff, and he actually created a process so he wanted to give himself these powers before he figured out who the Hulk really was, right? Okay. Which ended up being this guy that he knew at some point.
So he knew of the Hulk.
Right.
He knew Bruce Banner.
Correct.
But he didn't know they were one and the same.
Correct.
But he was intrigued with the Hulk.
Right. He was intrigued with, I guess, Bruce Banner's study of gamma radiation, not knowing why he was studying it.
Yeah.
But then he was also intrigued by what led to, because people understood that gamma radiation is what created the Hulk. He just didn't know that the two were the same.
Right. And he's a genius.
And he's a genius. Hey, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Until you know it, right?
There you go.
So he opened this door. So he thought that by bombarding himself with this radiation that he would get Hulk-like powers. And the idea was to get the Hulk powers, of course, without the rage. So, but what he actually did was he opened a door. I think they call it the green door. They opened this door to where he actually took the body of a beast from another dimension, right?
Okay.
So he didn't transform like the Hulk transforms. He actually embodies this beast from another dimension. So when you see the Sasquatch, that orange giant furry thing, that's actually a beast form on 616.
Okay.
Right? Not a transform.
And he did that with gamma radiation.
The gamma radiation opened a portal that allowed it. So he thought he was transforming himself,
right?
But he actually opened a dimension.
Damn.
Right. So, he's now he has access to this character. Before he had to meditate and all this other kind of stuff, but then he could do it at will, so on and so forth. So he has like this. I mean, this guy is like a really kind of a short history, but he started out. Different levels of Alpha Flight, because you have to build up. It's like the X-Men. You got like tiers before you get to the main teams.
Yeah.
So he eventually became part of Alpha Flight. As this thing, he also went off and continued his studies, things like that. But he's an interesting character to me because it's almost like this is their version, the Canadian version of the X-Men, right? So you have a Vindicator, who is kind of like the Scott, I guess. You have the Sasquatch, who's kind of like
Beast almost?
No, more like Colossus, I would say. You had Puck, which is like a smaller version, if you can get much smaller than the traditional Wolverine, right?
He's like the guy at the bar who jumped off
exactly. So, but this character, interesting, but they went through, I mean, like the whole team died. They got resurrected. His soul got placed in a robot. I mean, just a very interesting history, interesting power set. Now, when it comes to comics, his power set really isn't that spectacular, right? Okay. He's Sasquatch. He can lift a lot, probably the 85, 90 ton range, which is still, that's ridiculous, right?
Yep.
When you think about the average car being what, ton and a quarter, so he can lift 70 cars, right?
Damn.
Big guy, but he can still move. He's like the Wendigo. They're very large, but they can still move extremely fast, right? Then you got the durability. He's got the claws, not like the Wolverine claws, but something that you would imagine like a beast would have, right?
Almost like Sabretooth type fingernail claws, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Some switching things going on here.
Hey, it happens, dude. It happens to the best of us.
So, but yeah, just like not like Deathstrike, not like Wolverine, but just like claws on a like a lion or something like that.
Okay.
Right. So durability, he's taking blows from the Hulk. He's taking blows from Colossus. So things like so very durable, can fall from great heights. He has in some variants a extreme healing factor.
Okay.
Things like that. So I think he's an interesting character. I would like to see more of him. You know what his weakness is though? His fur.
Okay.
Because it's good for the the Canadian mountains,
yeah.
but he's not going to be in the Bahamas.
Okay.
So
he's
sweating out and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think this guy is an interesting character, and I'm talking about him more not so much because of what he alone brings to the table, but I think that team needs to be explored more.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I said that there's some interaction between what we were just talking about is because Deadpool. Like, the more I read about these characters and their adventures, Deadpool is, like, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually was responsible, Deadpool, for causing a nuclear reaction in Canada that pretty much could have wiped out the planet, right?
Damn.
So, but then he being Sasquatch and Deadpool got together and they stopped this reaction from going off and things like that. So I think an interesting character. Not so much interesting as far as the power sets is concerned. He's pretty much baseline. He's like a Colossus. He's just there, kind of, right?
Mm.
But I think that building something around Alpha Flight with this character would be essential, and I would like to see it come to fruition, along with the Hellfire Club, right?
Yep.
It's another whole team, and some of these guys. You can't pull them out individually. They're not all the Wolverines. They're not all the Superman, and things like that. But as a team, I think they could be very dynamic, and I think it would make an entertaining watch.
Just don't get the same team, not to piggyback on your team reference, that put together the Eternals if you're going to bring Alpha Flight into the MCU. Don't get that team together.
I think the Eternals, I think the team was okay. The casting was bad. The storyline was bad. Oh, okay. So
I mean the team that put it together, not the team on screen.
Gotcha. I understand what you're saying. You're talking about the production team.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, don't get that team together if you're going to bring Alpha Flight into. But another cool group. I mean, I say that the Eternals. I've read some Eternals comics. They're cool characters,
right? And
they just did a shitty job of showing us that they're cool characters on screen.
Yeah, they did.
But I mean, you've said this, several times on the show. Alpha Flight, which I don't know as much about them as you. My first experience with Alpha Flight was X-Men the Animated Series. There's some crossover, and they show, and I've not seen this episode in years, but I want to say maybe they show some of Wolverine's origins with the Alpha Flight, or I think maybe he joins them again for that episode or something like that. But it's cool because they have some, and you could do it in that way. I mean, we got Wolverine again now for however long. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could have the Alpha Flight introduced and tie it to a Wolverine story.
Absolutely.
Because to your point, they're not like, you don't want to see a solo Sasquatch movie.
Right.
But they would be a great addition to another movie, perhaps.
Even if it's more of Wolverine's origin. Because, I mean, they talked about him being in Japan, right? They made a move with him being in Japan with that stupid giant samurai, right?
Yep.
Well, he is Canadian, and a lot of his history is with Alpha Flight.
Right.
So that would be a perfect segue.
Yeah.
And then they can also bring out the Hellfire Club as the antagonist team, right? Mm-hmm. So you can actually put them both in together,
right,
and then spin them out into different things. So I think, again, interesting character, interesting team, and I would love to see Alpha Flight live action.
Yeah. Now, where does Sasquatch. I think I say Sasquatch. I think I'm one of the ones you're talking about. Sasquatch over here, Adrian.
Sassy Squatch.
Sassy. Where does Sasquatch rank when it comes to strength, power, like against the Hulks? I've seen some comics where they're fighting. Like, does he stand a chance or no?
No, because the Hulk. Okay, so at rest, Hulk is 70 to 90 tons when it comes to just raw strength.
Okay.
Right?
This is baseline.
Baseline. This guy, his peak, I think, is 95.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the angrier the Hulk gets. So the Hulk's he's like an omega level mutant.
Right.
The madder he gets, the stronger he gets. So there is no upper limit. Now, initially, if they fought, he could probably go toe-to-toe with him for a little while. Yeah. But I think ultimately the Hulk will win out.
Got it. If we're talking the real Hulk, not, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk that, just gets weaker the angrier he gets. Or something. Like, I don't know if he could lift this table,
Like, for example, even if you don't, you have to match the strength. But Hulk has that clap, which we've seen propel him through skies.
Right.
I mean, causing earthquakes. I mean, either getting hit by that blast, that concussive blast from the clap, or being between that.
Right.
I think would probably liquefy him.
Yeah. And we're talking about the thunderclap. Hulk doesn't have the clap. That's not what we're saying here. So that's the other stuff.
No, we're not doing that.
I mean, I don't know if he has. I don't think he does though. I bet the gamma radiation probably kill that shit,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
I bet gamma radiation's stronger than antibiotics, I would assume.
I would think so.
So, dude, another great hidden gem. If you like that, hit the like button. Check the hidden gems on our past episodes. But, dude, I know this isn't agree or disagree, but I couldn't agree more. I'd love to see Alpha Flight in some way, shape, or form. And maybe we see Sasquatch versus Hulk.
That would be a stretch. There's because of the arc for producing movies. There's so much stuff that they need to bring out. I think first.
Oh yeah.
But again, there's no reason why. It's like the pie, right? People think that the pie is only a certain size, and once you take a chunk out of it, there's less for everybody else. Yep. That's not the way that pie works.
Right.
That's not the way the Marvel universe or even movies work. I mean, how many times have you flipped through, I don't know, Prime or Netflix? It's like movie after movie after movie. Yep. They exist.
Right.
So this could also exist in that universe without impacting other stuff. Yeah. So there's plenty of room.
Oh, yeah. And these are things, too, like, Marvel does its TV shows. It has these one-offs, too. Like, the werewolf one you weren't a big fan of, but I actually enjoyed it. I'm even thinking, like, we talked about Hulk versus Wolverine. I wouldn't mind if that was like a 1 hour, one-off, show for Disney+.
Now, it would make sense and they could introduce Alpha Flight in that. Because they're fighting in Canada anyway.
Right.
Right.
And isn't it Department H who is kind of involved? Like, they sent Wolverine to kill Hulk, I think, originally.
Right.
I think they have some tie to Alpha Flight or something.
Yep, they do. They do.
So, yeah, you could bring it all together right there.
There you go.
Yeah, 1 hour special on.
I think they need more.
A little more, hour and a half maybe. 4 hours, like the Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Not quite that much. But.
Well, there you have it, Hidden Gem. We're going to move on to, I got a segment I kind of threw together last night, Adrian. It's called, What the Fuck, Rotten Tomatoes? And I'm going to explain. Yeah, because when I say that, you probably have no idea what it's going to be, right?
No, I do not.
So,
but it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. So, I was looking at, we talk about Rotten Tomatoes here every once in a while, right? Sure. Rotten Tomatoes gave Deadpool Wolverine a 78. Okay. Now there's two scores though. That's the critics. That's the one that everyone in any publication you read. That's the one they're talking about. The critic score. There's also the audience score, which is 96. Now,
sounds more appropriate,
right? Yeah. So if I said to you, "Hey, which one you think got it right?" you would probably say the audience on this one, right? So I thought that I would do a little digging and find out what the fuck Rotten Tomatoes because a lot of people talk about Rotten Tomatoes scores, but do we really know what they mean? Or what they're comprised of? No. So I did some digging to find out, like, first of all, why is the Rotten Tomatoes score even held with any value?
Yeah, why is it relevant?
Why is it relevant? Who cares? Where does it come from? So, not that you asked that, but maybe you were going to ask that. I have the answer for you.
I think I was curious.
I knew that, dude. That's why. So I got something prepared. I'm going to go through a little something here real quick. Kind of like, we did the Road to Deadpool Wolverine a few weeks ago, which everybody loved on TikTok. So I think that one's got like 800,000 views now. So appreciate y'all checking that out. And a lot of people are like, I love this information. So I got another one for you. So Rotten Tomatoes. Company was launched in August of 98. 3 undergrad students from Berkeley. And I'm going to butcher these names. Sen Duong, Patrick Lee, I got that one, and Stephen Wang. So Sen Dong wanted to create a site where people could get access to reviews from a variety of critics across the U.S. So that was his initial plan.
Okay.
Sen was a huge Jackie Chan fan, and around this time, Jackie Chan was beginning. He wasn't even making American movies yet. His Hong Kong action movies were being released in the U.S. So he started this. This site was inspired after he collected all the reviews for Jackie Chan's Hong Kong action movies. Rush Hour was Jackie Chan's first crossover into the U.S. box office. That was remember that movie, Chris Tucker?
Yep.
I love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So that movie was the catalyst for the creation of this website. Dong coded the website in 2 weeks, which even looking at it to this day, it kind of looks like it was coded in 2 weeks. Right. No offense, but I'm just kidding. But Rush Hour got delayed from August to September, so then he decided to include some other films outside of Jackie Chan films. Builds this website. He posts all these reviews on there, and we'll get into the scores later. Site was an immediate success. It was being mentioned by Netscape. Remember Netscape? It's an internet browser. Yahoo, US Today. Within the first week of launch, attracted 600 to 1,000 daily viewers, so site's kicking ass. In 2000, he teams up with Patrick Lee, Stephen Wang, his college buddies, and they pursue Rotten Tomatoes full-time. June of 2004, IGN Entertainment acquires it for some undisclosed amount. I bet several millions of dollars, sure. Right? September of 2005, IGN was bought by News Corp's Fox. It's funny, like, you read this stuff, dude, all these companies are owned by, like, 5 companies. Right. You know, like, that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, even that's probably like 2 or 3. Right. So Fox Interactive Media buys IGN. 5 years later, January of 10, IGN sold the website to Flickster. Flickster is a website where you can go find out about upcoming movies, their release dates. You can view Rotten Tomatoes scores on Flickster. You even could look at the show times for movies and book movie or buy tickets through this website. So it's kind of like an intermediate movie site, okay? So they sold to Flickster. Combined reach of both companies at the time is 300 million unique visitors a month. So a lot of traffic, right? So you can see the value there. 2011, Warner Brothers acquires Rotten Tomatoes. That's some shit, dude. Warner Brothers owned Rotten Tomatoes, like a movie studio who owns a site that ranks their movies. So I'm sure there was some bias there.
Sounds like at least it sounds like there's an opportunity.
Yeah, there's opportunity for bias. Yeah, welcome to America. February of 2016, Rotten Tomatoes and its parent site Flickster were sold to Comcast Fandango Media. So Fandango, another movie website. Warner Brothers retained a minority stake and merged the entities. Rotten Tomatoes. So that's kind of the history of where they are now. I believe that's still the way it's owned currently. But the score is more important because this is where I think it's bullshit. Rotten Tomatoes, and this is what they say on their website, the Tomato Meter score are the world's most trusted recommendation resources for quality entertainment, according to them, about themselves. But here's how the score is based on. It's based on the opinions of hundreds of film and TV critics. The score represents the percentage of professional critics' reviews that are positive for a given film or television show. So it's calculated. They start the calculation after it receives at least 5 reviews. They have this team of people that source movie reviews. And they basically, if they get 100 reviews, they go, hey, 50 of them were positive, 50 of them were negative. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 50%. That's the score. So it doesn't really tell you how good the movie is. No. Like it does. But it's critics and we're just now their positive reviews could have been all 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. But maybe you then found a handful of negative reviews and it outweighed it, and now the score is 60%. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think it's the best way to judge a movie. I mean, if I presented that to you and say, I'm going to tell you what movie is good based off of this math, would you trust it?
No, because, again, bias. People like to shit on things just to shit on things.
Yes.
So the movie could have been a 10 to them secretly. But, somebody, gave me some cash or whatever. So I'm going to say it's a 2.
Right.
Or I'm mad today because somebody in a red car that's the same color as the Deadpool suit hit mine. So now I'm reminded of this crash every time, every second with Deadpool. So I'm gonna hate on it.
Right.
No.
Yeah. No, I think it's bullshit. Now they have this, fresh rotten kind of thing. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this movie certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. The fresh meter is when at least you get a fresh red tomato when at least 60% of the reviews for the movie are positive. Mm-hmm. You get a green splat when at least 60% of or when less than 60% of the movies reviews are positive. And there's a certified fresh. This is like top of the top when the score has been consistently 75% or higher for that movie, and it receives 5 reviews from top critics. So I guess Rotten Tomatoes deems who these top critics are. Films in wide releases must have a minimum of 80 reviews before they're rated. Limited release, you were talking earlier about some movies only being released certain. Mm-hmm. Those have to have a minimum of 40 reviews before they have a rating. And like I said earlier, there's a team of curators who it's their job is to read thousands of reviews and come up with this score. There are tomato-approved critics that can self-submit their reviews, so you can be certified through Rotten Tomatoes and submit yours directly to them, and it will count. But there's been some bullshit over the years with Rotten Tomatoes scores. Like there was a time where there was review bombing happening. Movie would drop, and people would go on and drop a bunch of shitty reviews just to screw the movie's Rotten Tomatoes score up, right? And now, so that was, we're talking critic review. There's also audience review. So this is where there was potential for review bombs in the past, because there was a time where the audience score was just anyone who went on their website and left a review. Then they instituted a verified review rule where you'd have to show your ticket in order, like you have to prove you saw the movie to review it, which makes sense.
Right.
So, the audience score, this is comprised of verified ratings of people that went on their website, proved that they bought a ticket, and they scored the movie. Now, if I'm judging that versus how they look at the critic reviews, I'd almost lean more towards the audience score, right? Like, and the other thing is, and there's a comment we'll get into about when we get into We Respond, but it kind of talks about this where, like, I'm going to trust the fan of the movie over a critic who just watches a bunch of movies.
Right.
Because you may not understand this movie because it's not something you're like, dude, I'm not a big fan of country music. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about hip hop and, pop music, I'll give you my opinion. But you play me a country song, I can't tell you if it's good or bad.
Right.
So I shouldn't review that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go to listen to someone who is a fan of what they're talking about more. So I would lean more towards the audience, just hearing that.
Right. Also, I mean, there's this saying, like, if you own a hammer, only thing you see is nails. So at some point, you've seen so many movies. Does anything excite you or make you sad or make you laugh or make you cry? Or, I mean, do you have any emotions after watching 1,000 movies? Are you capable of giving a critique about something that may be outside of your typical genre?
Right.
I mean, so there's a lot of factors. But if you're a professional movie critic, I would probably say you're going to score probably 3 or 4 points lower than most people.
Yeah, I would assume. Absolutely. And then if there's some bias involved, maybe you're going to score higher on some movies that, maybe your friends work at those studios.
Exactly.
Or maybe they own Rotten Tomatoes and you want to keep your job.
Right.
There's that too.
And when I say 3 or 4 points, I'm talking about like 1 to 10. I'm not talking about, 63 points versus 60 points.
Right. But and there's a lot of, so this is going to lead to a little game we're going to play where I'm going to read you the critic score and the audience score for a handful of movies, and we're going to decide who got it right. Okay.
Gotcha. I was wondering where this was going.
Yeah, but I wanted to explain because I didn't know where they, and after learning all this, I look at, not that I looked at Rotten Tomatoes as the end all be all. I definitely looked at the scores.
Sure.
But I look at them with a lot less. I guess I care a lot less about the scores, knowing how stupid the way they comprise them are.
Sure.
I would even, go out on a limb here, Adrian, and say that the only comic scores are more accurate than Rotten Tomatoes scores.
I would agree with that.
Right? I mean, you could say I'm biased, possibly.
Possibly.
But, if I'm being as subjective as I can, I'm going to say our scores are more accurate. So
there you go.
Anyway, so audience score versus critic score. So Deadpool Wolverine, we already, kind of discussed this one. Mm-hmm. Critic score was 78. Audience score was 96. Mm-hmm. I think audience got that one right.
Absolutely.
It's right in between what you and I scored it. I said 95. You said 9.75. Yeah. So that proves my opinion that I just said.
Right.
Madam Web, critics gave it 11%. The audience gave it 57%. I'm going to have to go with the critics on this one.
11% is just shitty, dude. I mean, it wasn't that bad. 11% is like...
Madam Web we're talking.
I understand. Okay. Because Madam Web and the Eternals, I mean, they were probably about the same to me.
I'd say Eternals.
I'm thinking... 30-40% range.
So somewhere in the middle.
11 is
that's bad.
Whoever produced that should just stop making movies. I mean, that's bad, dude.
Yeah. That's all right. So that one you think neither one got it right?
I would lean more toward the audience.
Okay, 57. 57 still is not great,
right?
Know? All right, I'd lean towards Madam. I would never lean towards the Madam Web movie. I'm leaning towards the critic on that one. The Marvels. Critics gave it 62. Mm-hmm. Audience gave it 82. Now, we didn't hate this movie.
No.
I think it bombed at the box office, which I think unfairly. I think this movie was better than its box office performance. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the critics.
62? Yeah. Yeah, I probably would. Again, I'd probably be more in the middle. But yeah, it's definitely not an 82. That's insane, dude. Yeah. That's why you don't smoke crack before you go to the movies. Because you'll say it's an 82.
Or make them.
That too. Logan, audience score, critic score 93, audience 90. I'm going to lean towards the critics on this one. It's close, though.
Right, it's close. It's not,
X-Men Origins Wolverine, critics 38%, audience 58.
I go with the audience.
Me too. I don't hate that movie.
No.
It's got some, we've talked enough about the Deadpool with the mouth sewn shut.
Right.
Some of the real shitty, remember how bad the CGI claws were in that? They're like floating. It was bad. But we saw, him getting the adamantium. Mm-hmm. Dude, that scene of him jumping out of the tank, ripping everything, and that like rage, every vein in his body about to burst. Like that was badass. Yep. So yeah,
I think they had a second coming or another rendition of that in Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, that was the scene. Yeah, it was a little flashback, and it came from that movie. And some of the fights with Sabretooth were pretty cool. Mm-hmm. We saw the better version of Gambit in that, but so I would lean more. I think 58 is pretty appropriate for that movie. Yeah. And last one, this is more of a you question than me because I don't remember this movie as much. The Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. So the second of the original Fantastic Four. Critics gave it 38. Audience gave it 51. I don't remember it being that bad at 38. Like, it wasn't great, but
again, when you dip below, 50%, it's like, should the movie have even been made?
Right.
So I'm going to go with the audience on this one.
I think 51's at least how I remember it's appropriate. It wasn't, it wasn't the worst movie ever. Definitely,
it wasn't the Eternals. I'll say that, or Madam Web.
Right. Yeah. So on that one, I'm gonna go with I'll go with the audience score as well. So I think across the board, we said Deadpool, Wolverine, audience, Madam Web, we said audience, or you said audience. The Marvels, we said critics. Logan was about tied. One more. This is about 4% in between. Avengers Endgame, critics said 94, audience said 90. I rolled more towards the 90.
Yeah.
So I think, all in all, looks like the audience got it right, in our point of view, in our opinion, more than the critics. So
now the question is, are you asking about movies where it skews the audience vote? As opposed to looking at movies where it skews the critics' vote? It's a question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, who's actually, I don't know. What I was looking for was the biggest disparity, where, now, one of the issues a lot of movie studios have had with Rotten Tomatoes is things like this. Like if Rotten Tomatoes comes out and says Madam Web's 11%, it's going to cause less people to go watch the movie.
Absolutely.
That's what the studios say.
Right.
Now, there's other people go, oh, no, it shouldn't have any effect on it at all. Dude, there's definitely people that go, dude, what'd that movie get? 11%? Fuck that. I'll wait till that thing comes out. You know?
Right. So the Saturn, remember that car?
Yeah, I owned one.
Yeah. Where is it now?
In the junkyard somewhere.
Yeah. So people's opinions matter, especially when you are considered an authority. And that's what a lot of news organizations are doing now. Well, not now. They've always been doing. It's just people, they're being outed. You know, you're an authority in your space, and people look up to you or go to you for information, and then you decide to do whatever you want to do with it. So you're skewing purchases, you're skewing politics, you're skewing. So yes, it does matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's even been certain rules with like when reviews could be released, because that was an issue for a while too. Like, a movie is going to come out this Wednesday, this Thursday, but on Sunday, critics are shitting all over it with their reviews before the general public seen it. That may stop people from going to see it. So there's like a review embargo where you can't post reviews until the movie's been released. At least globally or nation in the U.S. or some shit.
Right. I think that's fair, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now what you guys are asking, what should you do? I'm going to answer it. You should just come to Only Comics for your movie reviews, because ours are not. There's no bias. We're not owned by Warner Brothers or Marvel or anyone. So we're going to give you the real take. So anyway, moving on. Adrian, we got some We Respond this week. We got a handful of good, I think, discussion starters. Okay. Our boy Sons of Sekhmet, Sons of Sekhmet, he's got an agree to disagree question. Cavill could pull off being the Punisher. Henry Cavill as the Punisher. Do you think he could pull that off?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I mean, he's pretty
big
big.
Ass Punisher, but I think he would.
Dude, you forget how freaking massive he is. And I'm sure he bulked up for that scene too, but seeing him in Deadpool Wolverine, holy shit, dude.
I think some of that was CGI though. That bag was massive. And it was too plasticky. Yeah. I mean, that's why I say like some of those scenes, like the mini Wolverine and the Cavill Wolverine, the CGI on it was so bad it was just comical. Yeah. But it was comical inside of a comedy, right?
There you go.
So it was acceptable.
Right.
Outside of that movie, that would be completely unacceptable.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think that was CGI. That back was massive. And I don't think he would have bulked up just for that 2 seconds of scene.
Unless he's bulked up for another role within Marvel that we don't know about. I mean,
could be.
Cavill's got range, dude. I think he's a handful. So it's funny, right under Sons of Sekhmet's comment, there's this dude, Williams Ma. Says Henry Cavill needs to be Omega Red. Now, size-wise, he could pull that off. Could he pull off a Russian accent? I mean, I don't know. I mean, isn't he a British guy who pulls off an American accent? So I
always found that amazing how British people can sound so American.
Yeah.
But then Americans just don't do the British thing properly.
No.
But he just sounds like a baby though in his real voice though.
Yeah,
I think I've heard him on some interviews. The way he sounds and the way he looks is like polar opposites. Dude.
It's like Hugh Jackman. You hear him? I mean, Australian guy. Like he sounds like I don't even know what he sounds like. He don't sound like Wolverine. That's for damn sure. But then the American accent, great, and that angry Wolverine growls, nothing like the way he.
So is the American dialect accent so basic that anybody can sound American?
Probably.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Or do we just accept
We're just
anything?
Some basic bitches over here, Adrian. It is what it is. But as Omega Red, I think he could pull off Omega Red. And why hey, bring up the Snyder Cut. Remember when Superman goes evil, black suit, he's not really saying much, just kind of angry face and attacking everyone. Sure. Omega Red is kind of that type of character. Like I think I've seen some of it there, so I think he could pull off Omega Red.
Well, he played this super spy in one movie. He was kind of isolated. He was kind of like that, standoffish. But I mean, he did that pretty well. So sure.
All right. Well, I guess either or. If I had to vote between the two, I'd pick Omega Red over Punisher.
Yeah, I think he would be just too massive. And Punisher.
And we got a great Punisher
for whatever
right
reason. I agree.
Yeah, and I mean we got what's his name, John Bernthal, who's I just let him keep playing Punisher.
Yeah,
dude.
there you go.
Don't screw that up. Cole Jarrett, he's commented in the past. What's up, Cole? Says, I don't think Spider-Man was shown in the picture because Sony owns that ass, but I like your views on it. So we were talking about
right. The picture being slightly.
I think this makes more sense actually. So Cole, you're right, dude. Because Tom Holland was not in the movie,
right?
So there would be no reason for them to get and they're not going to get the rights for one damn picture. They're just going to set it up to where he's not there, so that people like us can talk about it. So, Cole, you're probably right about that one.
I like that.
Yep. A. Josh Strickland, he's got 2 comments, and well, a lot of people have 2 comments, but they both don't get read. But so I like these 2. First, he says, talking to us, my brothers in Christ, I never thought I'd find another person, let alone 2, who agree about that first miscast. Finally, someone agrees that is a huge mistake, but it was fun, and I couldn't take it it was fun, but I couldn't take it in a serious role. Talking about Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Oh my God.
And I think I couldn't agree more. It was fun for that, like you said, for that movie.
Right.
Because we got a lot of shit. There's some, Gambit, he was great. Channing Tatum, we waited so long. Like, dude, relax.
You waited so long for Gambit to appear.
Right.
Not this guy playing him.
Exactly.
Which was a complete miscast.
Oh, yeah. Which we'll get, because I have another comment about that. Matter of fact, we'll jump around. Crowy2K says, my only complaint was the fact his body type was too bulky for the character. Other than that, he did great. I could overlook it. And that was our main point. Like,
right. And that was my point before the movie even came out. Yep. He's too big of a guy.
Right.
I mean, for him to play Gambit, he would have had to stop when he was making that movie about the planets and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the guy's just huge.
Right. We've had some, I don't even show them to you, Adrian, because they're so stupid. One guy said something. Actually, a handful said this. How is Hugh Jackman not too tall to play Wolverine? But Channing Tatum's too big to play Gambit. Okay, big and tall are 2 different things.
However, I've always said that Hugh Jackman is too tall to play Wolverine. However, he has pulled it off.
Correct.
And we're accustomed to seeing him now 10 years later, right? So it's different when you then introduce somebody, right, who is obviously not equipped to be in that particular costume. Right. I mean, he's like moving around like this. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane. But I think it comes across differently on screen because from a body type standpoint, Hugh looks the part of Wolverine. Height doesn't really come across that because you're usually not seeing the full body. So height I can get around. So how could that happen? They're 2 completely different things, dude. Like, we're talking about a guy who is about the size of The Rock. It looks like playing a scrawny guy. You wouldn't have The Rock play Charles Xavier, would you?
Right.
Wouldn't he be too big? I mean, I mean,
just because he's bald, that doesn't mean he's the right person for it.
Absolutely. Dude, you would Jelly Roll, the singer, the big old fat dude?
No.
You wouldn't have Jelly Roll
Wait a
play.
minute, so you don't know about country, but you know about country singers?
I know Jelly Roll, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say I like him, but I know Jelly Roll. You wouldn't have Jelly Roll play Magneto.
He's don't know what Jelly Roll looks like.
400-pound guy with a beard and tattoos on his face.
Oh, so no.
But what if he's a great actor, Adrian? What if he wanted to play Magneto? So like that, I hear you. The accent, I loved it. I thought it was great. It was, the Cajun accent I thought was on point. The costume, cool costume. Power set looked great, but his head, dude, as someone who has a big head, like I'm telling, like, bro, this shit's on like the second. I'm a big header, so I can comment on this. Channing Tatum's head's the size of Juggernaut's fucking helmet. Okay, right. It don't look right in the Gambit costume. So that's all.
Right.
And no, we're not hating because I actually enjoyed it for that movie.
Sure.
A. Josh Strickland also says he has a suspicion about the reviewers giving Deadpool and Wolverine an 80 and the fans giving it a 97. Actually, it's even lower now since you posted this. And he says that reviewers may look at it more in a vacuum. I could be wrong, but the fans got all the jokes and understood the references. And he brings up the Blade line where he says, I don't like you. And then Ryan Reynolds like, you never did, which is a meta. Like, that's because they had issues on set, allegedly. He said that I could be wrong, but I feel like the audience gets the jokes better. And he goes on. But that may be a part of it, too, right? Sure. Like, we talked about that fan, but the average critic, to your point, have seen, thousands of movies.
Right.
They're not going to understand. They're not huge necessarily huge comic book fans. They're just movie critics.
And I think in order to follow something like a Deadpool, Wolverine flick, you not only have to love and follow comics, but you also have to know a little bit about what's going on outside of the movies.
Sure.
So it's almost like you're a Deadpool where you're in the comic universe, but you're also what is it, a fourth page or
fourth wall break,
or whatever. Yep. So you got to know both worlds in order to understand some of this context, like the Fox comments. Mm-hmm. The Cavill coming over to our side comment,
right?
The thing with the Wesley Snipes. So you got to know a little bit about what's happening outside the movie in order to get those jokes. And if you're a professional reviewer, you're probably not getting too much, right?
Because think about, you've said it, how much content we reviewed to even just do the show once a week. This is a guy whose job is to review movies. Mm-hmm. And they review every movie, not just the big, global ones. They review even the little offshoots. So their job is to just watch movies.
Right.
I doubt they have a lot of time to dig into the dirt sheets and find out, where this character stems from in the comic. They don't. They're just looking at it as a movie, as my man said, in a vacuum.
Right. And along the way, you're becoming desensitized.
Correct. 100%. So
desensitized to the genre, I mean.
Right. So A. Josh Strickland, as he's called himself, our brother in Christ. I wonder if he means Marvel Christ. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, you're our brother in Marvel Jesus. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Next up, user set, and I hate this, Adrian. Can you just get a fucking username, please? Anyways, he asks us. Actually, you have to wait now. You're gonna go next. Deep End Don. Okay. He says X-Men First Class was, and he typed the poop emoji, Adrian. Wow. He's saying X-Men First Class was shit. Do you agree with that?
I don't think. Well,
did you like
X-Men? It was not shit.
Okay.
Wasn't fantastic.
No.
But I don't think I've seen any X-Men movie that's shit. However,
well, you've seen Dark Phoenix,
but there have been some that smell
close to
it. So
got it. Yeah, I liked X-Men First Class. I didn't think, to your point, I don't think it was amazing. I thought it was solid. Mm-hmm. That's a good way to describe it. I'm gonna come up with my own ratings. So for me, it was solid. What do you say?
Not solid.
Not solid. Okay.
Maybe body rottish.
Okay.
Another word from back in the day, probably people don't understand. Right. But anyway.
So yeah, I disagree. I don't think it was shit. I think it was better than X-Men Apocalypse. I think it was better than Dark Phoenix. It was definitely not better than Days of Future Past. It wasn't better than X-Men 1 or 2. It was better than X-Men 3, So I think it was middle of the road, mid, as the kids say. So, anyways, my man user 74 fucking trillion with no name over here. He asks us favorite Wolverine variant, and he's talking about from the movie. Yeah. So, of all the variant, we saw we'll recap real quick. We saw the little guy, right? Yep. We saw the Calvarine, as they call him.
Right.
We saw Wolverine on the big X, the crucified Wolverine. We saw Old Man Logan on the porch with the and then we saw the shotgun, and then we saw the brown suit.
One-handed one.
Oh, yeah, Weapon X from the Age of Apocalypse. And then we saw the brown suit Wolverine fighting Hulk or getting ready to. Mm-hmm. I think that covers all the variants. Because I don't think we can't include the main one because that would be my favorite, right?
Right. I was going to say.
So I guess if you're including that one, that's my favorite. Mm-hmm. But of the other ones, who would you say, what was your favorite to see? If you say Calvarine, I'm walking out.
No, Old Man on the Porch.
Old Man Logan?
Yeah.
It was a toss-up between that and the brown suit one, but I like the Old Man Logan story, and I agree. I love the old, and it looked just like it did in the comic.
Yeah.
I think my close second for me, just because I was a fan of these comics as a kid, was the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine with the one arm.
Yeah.
That was cool. Oh, and then the patch variant, too, with the white suit. That was cool.
I don't understand why that was even in the movie.
Why, the patch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand they want to show the variant, but that just didn't. And what's funny is that I didn't even think about that until now.
Yeah, no,
it's like, why was it there?
All right, well, there you have it, user 7 trillion with no name. Broken Toy Boy. See, he has a name, Broken Toy Boy. He's the kid with all the broken toys. You know?
It would be interesting for just a fleeting second to understand how people choose these names. Yeah. What are they thinking about when they choose these names? Right. I think that'd be funny.
So, Broken Toy Boy, tell us what you were thinking. Next week, we'll in his comment, it's more just a comment. We were talking about the beginning scene to the opening scene of Deadpool Wolverine with the Logan corpse and Sync Bye 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 playing. Broken Toy Boy says, I had a panic attack. It was that good that it put him into a panic attack.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't do that to me, but I could see, that happening. It makes sense, I guess. Get that checked out, though. Go see a doctor if the movie's pertaining. But we talked about that, and most of the TikTok world agreed with us about the opening scene. Like it went, everyone loved it.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny is on the NSYNC YouTube channel, they renamed the title of their video. They now in parentheses says official song from Deadpool Wolverine or something.
Of course.
And dude, their thing shot up the charts. Like they got like 20 million streams last week.
Of course, royalties work.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, Broken Toy Boy, you had a panic attack, and a lot of other people did too. But we didn't. We had a attack of joy, I think, when that took place. So, Adrian, agree to disagree. Let's do it. This is where I rapid fire. I got 10 this week, so we're going to rapid fire them. 10 of my opinions at you, and you're going to let me know if you agree or not. Okay. Number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine in no way, shape, or form does it devalue Logan's death in Logan.
Agree.
Henry Cavill should never play Wolverine again in anything.
Agree.
X-Men First Class is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Agree.
In no way, shape, or form does Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doom devalue Tony Stark's death in Endgame.
Agree.
X-Men and the Fantastic Four should get the Avengers treatment after Secret Wars.
Absolutely. Jonathan
Majors should return as Kang in Secret Wars.
Agree.
Wesley Snipes should retire of playing Blade unless it's a cameo.
Agree.
Okay.
That was painful to watch because I was always wanting him to come back, right?
Yeah.
But then when I see him, I'm like, no.
It's too old. Yeah.
It's put it down.
Right.
Just put it down.
The Eternals was better than Madam Web.
Yes.
Everybody watching should come check us out at Terrificon next week or in 2 weeks.
Agree.
Last but not least, everybody watching should head over to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like our videos, and watch the full podcast.
All the podcasts. Agree.
All of them. Yeah, all of them. And the reason I say that, watch the full podcast is if you judge us based off of one of these statements, a lot of times you're going to misjudge us, right? Because a lot of these, you've said this before. Some of them I added while we're doing the show. I just make them up as we go. So don't judge us just based off of one opinion.
There you go.
Come to the YouTube and get the full experience,
So correction, not all the podcasts. There's only one podcast, but
yes.
All the episodes
there you
in
go.
The podcast.
There you go. A couple of these I wanted to touch on because this was heavy in the comment section this week. Logan's death. Mm-hmm. There's a handful of fans that feel like Wolverine coming back in Deadpool Wolverine, the whole, digging up the grave and all this shit. His death now means nothing, Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that at all. Mm-hmm. Number one, it's a different variant, right? And it doesn't undo anything that we've seen. Yeah, they made a joke. It's a Deadpool movie. You're going to make jokes about some shit that some people may feel you shouldn't make jokes about, like digging up a corpse and killing a bunch of people with someone else's corpse while you're listening to Bye Bye Bye.
Let me see. Movie.
There you go, yeah.
Made up things.
Correct.
Just saying.
But nothing about it to you, you're like, now if I don't want to watch Logan because the death isn't going to mean as much as it did, like, it doesn't make any sense.
No. Now, let's parallel that with, because we had a discussion about, Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
And Tony Stark coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And we've said, finally broke it down to, we could tolerate a variant, but initially it was like, I don't want to see Tony Stark come back in any kind of way, right? So now, how do you put that up against the Wolverine coming back?
Right. I say the same thing. I don't think it devalues it.
Okay.
Now, if you were to undo that character's death, that exact one,
yes,
then to me, yes, it devalues the death because he's no longer dead, right? Like,
I agree with that. Yes.
Like, for example, Batman versus Superman. Superman dies. Now we know he's coming back, But like if we didn't, and then you bring him back in the Justice League movie, well, it now devalues that. That don't mean shit anymore.
Right.
But it's okay. I mean, it was supposed to happen. So for me, as long as it's not that variant, who gives a shit? You didn't dig up the Logan from Logan, and you know he didn't join Deadpool. He had to go to a whole different universe throughout the multiverse to find this variant.
As a matter of fact, the whole point of digging him up was to say this is not the Logan.
There you go. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Because there's even people say him coming back as Doom now, you know, devalues that death. How? It's a different character.
Let me see. What is that called? Acting?
Yeah.
Where you play more than one people. Now, he will be at his 2 character limit.
Yes. Yep.
So, you know, don't go beyond that. But outside of that, you know, that's his job.
Someone commented, they're like, what do you mean a 2 character limit? Because this is people I said that, you know, have not seen the full show. You guys need to come check this out because they're like, who said a 2 character limit? We did. Right. It's Adrian's rule. He made it up. Okay. Right? And I just back it.
Literally like a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Said it thousands of times.
Right. But, you know, I've seen someone to read some stupid shit, and I'm not going to give these people any, you know, I won't tell you who said it, but some things I've read about Doom. And another reason, one of the main reasons I'm not going to tell you who said it is multiple people have said these same exact things.
Okay.
That, you know, now whenever I see Doom on screen, I'm going to think of Tony. Okay. Then he goes, the rest of the characters will think he looks like Tony Stark. And then you get his endgame death means nothing. You know, that one too. Well, let me fill you in on something. And you're more of a Doom expert. You can correct me if I'm wrong at any point, Adrian. How the fuck are you going to think of Tony when he wears a mask? How are the characters going to recognize him as Tony Stark? Would it by his eyes, maybe? Doom is disfigured, correct?
Yep.
And he wears a mask 99.99% of the time. And Robert Downey Jr. is capable of acting like characters that are not Tony Stark. We've seen this in several movies. So I would say go watch more movies, maybe. Go look at his filmography. But nothing about seeing Tony on, because they're not going to make him look like, he don't even look like Tony Stark anymore. Right. He's older. He's fucking 15 years older. I think all this it's silliness.
Now, to be fair, remember Ultron?
Yep.
Remember how I said that the guy who voiced him,
James Spader.
Yep. I didn't like that Ultron because of the voice.
Okay.
So the voice was also part of the actor. We don't really think about it because we don't really see people on the screen that's masked up for the majority of the time.
Right.
But their voice is also part of them.
Yep.
So when they hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice, they will automatically because they've heard it for like the last 10, 15 years. So I can kind of understand that.
Okay.
So I can understand some of that, but he is an actor playing a completely different role, and they just kind of need to get over it.
And I mean, these are very different characters in their personalities. So yeah, the voice may be the same, but the portrayal, the cadence in which he speaks, like his vocal delivery, I would assume he's not going to go and just do the same thing he did for Tony Stark. Right. You know what I mean? He's Robert Downey Jr.
I think some of this also is because he was beloved.
Yeah.
His portrayal of Tony Stark was so beloved that, you know, people are unwilling to see him as somebody else. Now, how many comments have you seen about what's his face playing the Flame On thing?
Oh yeah.
Instead of Captain America.
Everyone loved it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So there's passion behind it. The real reason why people don't want to see him playing Doom, not that he cannot play Doom.
Right. No, I echo what I said last week. He'll knock it out of the park. But Chris Evans, perfect example. He even speaks differently when he's Johnny Storm. He has more of his New York accent. Chris Evans is like a New Yorker. He's got that, which it's weird because so is Steve Rogers. But as Steve Rogers, he's kind of masked his New York accent, and you hear it more when he's playing Johnny Storm.
Right.
But same look. Same character. I mean, Deadpool even.
Well, not exactly the same.
Not the same, but
the Botox.
Yeah,
whatever.
that happens, you know. But Deadpool even alluded to the fact that like he thought it was Cap, right?
Right.
And then he ends up being Johnny Storm. And dude, I'm not distracted. That's Johnny Storm.
But I also think that we're accepting a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a Deadpool movie.
True.
And you know these kind of things make sense in a Deadpool movie. Outside of it, probably not so much.
Yeah, you might be right. But but I think a lot of this stuff, these concerns to me are just they're silliness.
Sure.
It's we're gonna have a little bucket of silly shit here in that Only Comics, and that's what that falls into. But
bucket of silly shit.
But so Terrificon in a couple weeks. Actually, Adrian, are you traveling that day? That is
what day is it?
16th.
Yep.
So you actually won't be there.
Nope.
So I'll be there. So Terrificon. So let me tell you what I'm going to be doing there. I'm going to be doing, since you won't be there, Adrian, I'm going to find some people who do agree to disagree with.
All right, there you go.
We're going to see how they do, you know? And I think I'm going to go through some of our favorites. Well, may not be their favorites, but some opinions that maybe didn't go over so well. We're going to test these Terrificon guests. I'm also going to do some trivia, so I'm thinking mostly MCU related, and the prize will be, you see this nice black and white Only Comic shirt right here, Adrian? I'll be giving out these to, so I got a bunch of these in a box that I'll be bringing. We'll be doing some content. We'll be walking around. One thing I know, we'll be having fun. Right. So if you're going to be at the Terrificon at Mohegan Sun on August the 16th, look for Only Comic shirt. There'll be, bring my boy Taylor's going to be up in there filming some stuff, so... Okay. I may have some of my kids with me. I don't know. But we're going to have some fun. I know that. And I look forward to meeting you all. I'm sure, with the amount of people, there's got to be people in New England that are following us. So
there's got to be.
So hopefully you guys show up. We'll see you there. And like I said before, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, help us build the YouTube. So everyone's like, I want more of it. You want more content? Then subscribe. Tell more people about it, you know? Right. God.
Subscribe. You know what? I'd rather you subscribe than send me coffee. How about that?
You giving up on the coffee?
I'm just giving up, dude.
Last thing, Wesley Snipes. So we touched on this a little bit. You were a big fan of him coming back, and then like you've said that before, he should come back.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then when you saw him, you're like, dude, he's just way too old, right? Like how old is Wesley Snipes right now?
I don't know. I'm
gonna look that up. But now. I said he should not return unless it's a cameo. Like if he does something similar, he's 62. He looks older than 62. Yeah. The way he moves around, not looks. He moves around. Yeah.
I was gonna say that it's not his age.
Not fair.
It's like how he looks when he's doing the acting. It's just kind of you want to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was jacked back in the day too. So I don't expect him to get all bulked up for 2 minutes of on-screen time in a leather coat. But there was a funny post that because of what the comment he made in Deadpool Wolverine that there'll never be no other Blade, right? Somebody shared that, and they were like, cancel Marshall, I forget how you say his name, but Ali's Blade. Like, cancel out, let Wesley Snipes, and he retweeted it and was just like, y'all are crazy. So he kind of added a little, fuel to the fire there. But I'm all about them having Marshala Ali play Blade and move on from Wesley, unless it's in, like, if he shows up in Secret Wars in a very similar, I'll be okay with that.
Right.
But I don't want to see him in a movie.
Yeah, no.
Like his own movie. So, anyways, there you have it. That is Agree to Disagree. That is our show this week. You know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. Subscribe to our YouTube. Go check out. We're on Spotify. Some people ask about Apple Podcasts. We're not on there yet. I don't know. If I get around to it, we'll look into it. But right now, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. And then we're on TikTok, as you know. And we are, I'd say we're probably one of the most interactive accounts. Like with do I love to respond to, I can't respond to everyone because a lot of comments, thankfully. But I try to get out to as many as I can. We appreciate all the support and appreciate the shit talk. But here's the thing. Don't be surprised when I respond.
Right.
Because unlike a lot of these other accounts, I don't give a fuck. We had one guy, he was like, you guys are too harsh on the Gambit thing, and I was like, well, maybe we're too harsh for you then, dude. Right. And at first he was like, oh man, well, I was been a fan of your page, and I guess I'll have to unfollow him. And I said, dude, here's what's funny. You say you're a fan of our page, but you can't take a joke.
Right.
First of all, if you don't want to follow, have at it, unfollow. But if you've not paid attention to the show, we have fun.
That's it.
We talk shit.
That's it.
I don't get offended. You don't get offended. Some of them do. But I would just encourage you not to. Let's just have fun. So if you can talk shit, I'm going to talk shit right back, and let's just have fun together.
There you go.
Fun with Mike and Adrian.
There you go.
So, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And, dude, look at this new addition to the wide shot here.
I see.
That? I was saving that for the end. Got a little Deadpool. Now, I fucked up because I got the Deadpool that has the suit from the movie.
Right.
And then I got the Wolverine that has the comic accurate suit. So there is a version of the Wolverine with the, but you know, that's what we're doing.
You know what? They're represented.
They are. Yeah, they feel represented. You know, like I said, I'm big on representation, you know.
Along with Darth Vader.
Yeah, I don't know why he's there. He's just there.
Right. That's not Doom.
No, it's definitely not Doom. Nope, definitely not Doom. So anyways, well, one thing we didn't discuss, and we'll get into this next week, was Caped Crusader dropped.
Yep.
I only watched one episode. You watch any of it?
I have not seen any.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode. I'll just say that I wasn't
blown away.
Wasn't blown away, but also I wasn't disappointed.
Okay,
it was a good start. The female penguin's a distraction. It's just weird, but I guess I'll get over that. I mean, right. I have no choice because it's not going to change. I think that the distracting part for me is it looks a lot like Batman the Animated Series, but it's not. It's like kind of the opposite of X-Men 97. X-Men 97 looked a lot like X-Men the Animated Series, but it was a continuation of it. It was just kind of a different tone.
Okay.
This is not a continuation of Batman the Animated Series, but the character looks very similar in design, the noir, dark feel, which I like, but it kind of reminds me of that.
Gotcha.
And the guy's voice sounds like he's trying to be Kevin Conroy. Sometimes it's a good thing, and other times it's not. So but who knows? So yeah, I'll probably get through them over the next week, and then we'll discuss them next week. So, anyways, again, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely,
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, like this, share this, send this to your mom, your dad, your brother, somebody, your neighbor. Man, just put it on outside on your projector and let your neighbor watch it. You know.
You know what? Let's make some stickers.
There you go.
So they can go and slap them on people's cars. Not mine.
Yeah, no.
Slap them on people's cars so that they get exposed too.
There you go. Stop signs. You know, you stop signs. Yeah, do that too. All right, love it. Or at the bar, just put it on the wall. People do that too. You know?
Don't get arrested.
Yeah, don't get arrested because we will not bail you out. No, we need a lot more subscribers before that happens.
Right.
But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. You know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.